Hello, everybody. Welcome to the American Magpie. We are back with another show, and unfortunately lost yesterday, but actually a lot of the good positives as well. So we got to, there's a lot of great areas, but we ended up losing anyway. And the table doesn't care about, whether you deserve to win or tie. It's ruthless, and it's looking, pretty tough to look at the table right now with Newcastle. Where are we at right now? Let me just check. Cause there was games
10th, I
today.
think.
Still 10th with Chelsea above us now. Yep, Chelsea 9th, 10th for Newcastle. But listen, good evening, good night to everybody out there. Of course, the Call of Duty, you know what it is. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's get to as many likes as we can. That way more Magpies can join. And of course, let me know in the comment section what you think about this match that we played yesterday. What your thoughts? Doesn't matter. We don't censor. We don't ban anybody. You're allowed to say whatever you want to say, whether we agree or not. It doesn't matter. You can say whatever you please in the comment section. So go ahead. We're gonna show your comment, read your comment, and I want to welcome, of course, Philip from Toon Tactics TV. Welcome, Philip. How you doing? How's your week?
Thank you. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you again for inviting me on, and
Yes, sir.
and great to see the chat and everybody else that's here. Let's
Yes,
talk
sir.
football.
Yes, sir. And of course, Ian Davidson. He's a regular now, man. He's he's awesome as well as Phillips. But so welcome Ian again. How you doing, my friend? I like your
I'm okay,
shirt.
mate. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm spot on. Thanks for having us back on. And
Well, you
can't
you
wait to
weren't
get
spot
some.
you weren't spot on with that prediction.
Um,
You,
we
you,
nearly
you
had it. We
We
nearly
nearly
had
had
that,
it.
man.
We nearly had it.
well, let's talk about it, man. Listen, I
You were
did the.
worried. You were
You
worried
s-
at one point.
Hey, yeah, I was. I mean, it turned out to be a much better match, I would say, for Newcastle, especially in the beginning. It was. I mean, I was seeing some things that I think that only St. James's Park can give you as far as the energy boost that you needed in the first half, and especially in the first 10, 20 minutes. I mean, it was just Newcastle being intense, all the energy in the world. You didn't have Joe Linton, didn't have Tino Livramento, even though I think that he wasn't going to play regardless, because Dan Burn is the man for Eddie Howe. But at the end of the day, man, we ended up losing. So let me hear your thoughts, Philip. Go ahead, man. What are your thoughts on this match? Where do we go from here? Or what do you actually think about the match in particular first?
yeah, I mean, look, everything more or less that we knew would happen in terms of how Guardiola is going to play happened. He pushed up his fullbacks. I think in this case it was Ake through the middle, push back, push up, push. Kyle Walker pushed up, and the main conversation was always going to be around what would happen in that half space between our defense and the midfield, where Foden and the others were. And again, Foden I think is exceptional. And I think for the first 30 minutes or so, Man City had the better of the possession or moving the ball around, but weren't creating overly clear chances. Now, what I liked about it, what happened is obviously Bernardo Silva comes up with that incredible goal, fantastic goal from Kyle Walker. Where Dan Burn was, I don't know. But when Kyle Walker came with a cross, and then Bernardo finished. I loved our response to it. We showed an incredible resilience. We didn't fold like many other teams do, and we found ourselves again for at least for the next 20 minutes or so. We remembered who we were, and we started to close down that half space. We started seeing Botman pressing up on Foden, and then as soon as we got the ball, we knew exactly what to do with it. And we just detonated the possession onto Isak, onto Gordon. Isak scored a fantastic goal, one shot, one kill, Isak, and then Gordon joined in on that. And I thought, obviously then Isak was in a one-on-one after that, and I thought, don't tell me we're going to run these guys over, and he missed. And then obviously, what happened? We went into the half as 2-1, as we can see. Second half, now this is where the debate points are, and I was going to actually come to Ian and ask you guys, because from a footballing perspective as well, like from a footballer's perspective. So I had debates over various people about it. Newcastle obviously how people perceive it went ultra defensive, when people feel that we should have went attacking and should have sustained what we did in the first half. My take on that was there's two teams playing. There isn't just Newcastle playing. The other team is Man City, and they've got possession and they're keeping the ball. when they got possession of keeping the ball, they're dictating what we do. And so I think that Newcastle just folded it in terms of energy levels and tried to, and not just energy levels, but mentally as well. And they stopped and they try to defend the lead. Obviously, De Bruyne came on, all these other things is history. I saw Anthony Gordon's interview, and I'll finish it on this. Obviously, people were banding it around on Twitter, saying that it wasn't Eddie Howe who told the team to go out and be defensive. Essentially, he told them to go out and go for the third goal. But for some reason, they didn't do that. Anthony Gordon said this, but not Anthony Gordon, only Anthony Gordon, because I've heard Isak say this in another game where he felt that we went defensive too quickly and we didn't have the self-belief in possession. So these are attackers that are finding it quite annoying in terms of what's happening behind them. So I just wanted to ask, what was you guys' take on it? Why do you think we went defensive? I don't think it's Eddie Howe's nature to be defensive. So I don't believe he said to them at halftime, go and defend for your lives. I don't think he did that. So then, essentially, what is happening? What's you guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Ian.
I thought the first 15 minutes was probably one of the best football I've seen at St James's Park for a long, long time. I mean, I thought Man City were on a different level. We were quite compact, but they just kind of, Rodri especially, was just finding them little spaces in between. And Foden played on beyond the lines, and he was finding them little pockets. Yeah. The possession and how good they were playing allowed Kyle Walker to play right up. And I thought we were in for a right hiding the way they started. But you haven't picked up on which we played a ball down the outside, and Anthony Gordon took a touch, passed it past. It was Rodri.
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah.
Right, and Diaz knew exactly what he was doing. He forced Gordon right away across the pitch and pushed him out of the park. For me, it was a foul, and I'll take you back. Example where we played Liverpool, where Trent Alexander kicked the ball away for pettiness and got a yellow card. The same play, Anthony Gordon done exactly the same to Trent, and Trent pushed him away. And the commentators on that day turned around and said, if he didn't get the yellow card the first time, he would have gotten the yellow card. That then was a couple of minutes before they played that ball. But don't get us wrong, mind. Walker played a lovely ball inside for Bernardo Silva, and the flick was absolutely beautiful. Great goal. After that, the challenge, what should have been a foul for Newcastle United, pissed Newcastle United off. And I just thought we stepped up a level. Our intensity, especially Miggy Almiron on the front foot, his pressing off the ball was exceptional. The way we were playing. And Fab Shaw broke out of defence, real aggression. One tackle was a good one, but the second one on Doku didn't want to try and get a foul. He big full-blooded tackle. And then he played a lovely ball inside to Bruno. Bruno didn't even look on the turn. And then obviously Isak just took it and played an absolute beauty at the bottom corner. I couldn't actually believe what I've seen, because obviously Manchester City were that dominant.
Right.
But fair play to Newcastle to step up against them. And not only that, again, after when we scored, the intensity level, like I said, the crowd were right up for it. They became that extra man. Pushed us on even further. And again, like I said, about Tino playing about balance down that left-hand side. When you've got Dan Burn naturally playing that left-hand side. He naturally came to Dan Burn, who opened his body up lovely, played a lovely ball down the side, and Kyle Walker didn't give Anthony Gordon the respect. He must have thought, he's all right. Tend to put a little bit of speed on, then he must have thought, oh shit, I'm in bother here. Opened up, and then Anthony Gordon just took one touch inside and curled an absolute beauty in. And to be honest, I just thought, oh my God, what are we witnessing here? This is just something special, what's happening at St James's Park. Obviously, when Isak went through, we could have went 3-1 up. Do you know what I mean? It's fine lines. Going in at half time, I thought Half-time came in at a really, really bad time. I'd rather have just played on right the way through the 90 minutes because the momentum was with us. It gives the best manager in the world. He's regroup his team in and just think, we've got to. I don't think he would say it because he always knew they would have chances in the game. I think he would have still felt quite confident just to keep doing what we're doing because he had the likes of Kevin De Bruyne on the bench to change games, etc., etc. Now, for me, there's no way on earth Eddie Howe would have set us up to be defensive second half. I just think the way the games fall into place. There's two things that can happen. There's player management on the football pitch where you can do things yourself, or the manager can look to a bench to change things. We can't look to the bench to change them. And this is why I was saying a 6 is critical to Newcastle United Football Club. Because if you look where Kevin De Bruyne picked that ball up, there was actually because the way we play, we go forward as a 4-3-3 or a full back will overlap on one side.
Yeah.
When we defend, we're a flat 4-5-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when I say a 6 is critical, is because if you've got a player that's protecting your back four and protecting your midfield four, that hole where Kevin De Bruyne sits, I'm not saying it would stop the goal because Kevin De Bruyne is absolutely fantastic. What I'm saying is it would be more difficult for him to pick that ball up and take it up 10, 15 yards and then curl it at the bottom corner.
Yeah.
If we had a presence there, that could change things. But if you look where our midfield core was, the three, which you've got Miley, Longstaff, and Bruno, all three of them were in a cluster. Didn't affect that.
Ian, your volume's dipping in and out a lot. I don't know.
So what I'm saying is that is that better?
No, it's still like it fades out in and out a little bit. Well, it was doing that last week as well, but I'm not sure what it could be. Maybe the headphones. But you make some great points, and my only thought is, it's still we do a lot well, but it just seems like the team cannot keep up for 90 minutes to save their life, man. And it is the way we play. 100%. It is the way we play. I know it. I know it because I watch a lot of football, of course. And one of the characteristics you guys might not know, of course, but River Plate is a big club in South America. I watch them weekly, and the previous manager Marcelo Gallardo. I don't know if you heard of him. He's managing in Saudi Arabia now, and he had the same thing. It was intense, and when you. But if you have that type of a way of playing, you must work on a different way as a backup because you're always going to run out of breath. You're always going to be tired, especially with a depleted lineup. I understand that there's two ways to look at this: a manager dies by the sword, or a manager is crafty and finds a way. And both of these ways, the people agree with either way. But I have to say, if at the end of the match you can see 60th minute, not even at the end of the match, to be fair with you, because 60th minute Manchester City had everything. They had the control, and I was doing the watch along, and it felt like at some point in time it was going to come, and so you have to try to do something. And I always say this: yes, we don't have players. We don't have players, right? We have nobody. I mean, or I guess you can say that the difference between the bench, the dugout, and the starters, it could be overwhelming. There is a difference, but to me, a well-rested player with 100% energy is much better than a tired. I don't want to name players, but anybody that's exhausted that can't run anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because at least you're going to get the energy from it. I don't know where you guys' thoughts are on that, but it almost feels like we can never finish the match. Not just this one.
Well, I'll take up on the point on craftiness. I don't know. Last year we became known as infamous for our dark arts. I haven't seen much dark arts in the last few games. I don't know why that's gone out of our game. I used to love it. They were calling how the Diego Simeone's under apprentice and all these other things. But at the same time, I think I don't even think, and I don't even think it's necessarily just a physical tiredness. I think there's a bit of a mental one as well. I think, for instance, Ian talked about Kevin De Bruyne picking up the ball, and there's people keep sending the posts of Bruno and Miley and Longstaff chasing him. But if you remember, the moment De Bruyne gets the ball, the defense drops back, and it's one man. It's one man who's been injured for the last 4 or 5 months. And you got to test him. You got to see if he's even got the burst of pace to go past the player.
Right.
They all stepped back. And I was surprised at that. Sven Botman, for instance, was doing relatively well throughout the game, where I could see him, particularly with looking at Foden and just trying to keep Foden out of the game and be proactive with Foden as best as he could. And why they stepped back, I don't know why. All 3 guys against one man, not one of them thought, I'm going to step up, you two, just cover me. If he goes past me, does me in, he does me in. He's De Bruyne. But all 3 of them step back. For me, that's a mental thing. And in terms of how Anthony Gordon said, in terms of belief on the ball, why that belief was there for 20 minutes where we absolutely overrid them, then evaporated. But at the same time, look, I know that Miley's going to be a class player. He's 17 years old. Sean Longstaff isn't Bruno on the ball. He's, all those other things. But then Botman, share. But then at the same time, people underestimate, again, there's another team there, and they're called Man City, and they've got centre-backs coming playing as false nines, nearly as false nines at one point. And you're having to look at all of that. So people are saying, just bring on some, people in chats, he could have brought Kraft, but then he could make the game worse by bringing all those guys on.
But don't you think that like a player by player, like position, just replace a position with another player that can do that specific position, just because they are like right now they seem like they can run, and because at the end of the day, Philip, I just need somebody to run. I just need somebody to catch somebody. You don't have to be Messi to know how to tackle. You don't have to be, you know what I mean? You just have to catch up. Listen, and maybe I'm looking at it from a naive perspective, and it's just with the sour taste that I feel like we could have done certain things. And I do agree with Ian. It's not just about the manager, because the manager is there to make the changes, of course, but the players also don't need to be told, don't let De Bruyne, this thing that De Bruyne just came back yesterday, and he was amazing. But you know what De Bruyne can do? He can shoot from outside. Today, last week, the year before, and in 2 years. It's simple. He doesn't have to come back from injury for us to figure that out, right? I mean, so I don't know, man. It is frustrating. And again, if we would have drawn, maybe it would have been a different conversation. You know that in football, results change the narrative, a lot. And it is frustrating, because we had it in the previous. Yeah, I mean, I certainly didn't think that we were going to play like this, but Ian had a feeling. Philip copied Ian. He had and he also expressed that. And listen, but once you have the game right there for the taking, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's just frustrating, It is. I don't know, man. But anyways, you guys go on, man.
Look, I don't. Well. One thing also is too many players, whether it's Kieran Trippier and Anthony Gordon, are coming out and saying we're tired. I personally don't like that. Eddie Howe doesn't do that. He hides that. Everyone knows, even if for instance you're in a fight and the guy gives you a good punch, don't tell him, "Oh, I'm hurting." Don't do that. Pretend like it didn't happen. You continue. You keep a poker face and you keep on fighting. Players coming out, we're tired. We're mentally tired. We can't cope with this, and that. Even if it's all true, just keep it in house, because now teams are coming up. Luton, Nottingham Forest, thinking, "Hey, these guys are tired." They're telling everybody they're tired. So let's run into their midfield. Let's take a chance. Let's take a risk. They're all saying it. So I think that part's got to stop. I still believe that. Yeah,
go ahead. No,
I was going to say, like I said even before this game, I still believe that this month is the recovery month for Newcastle. And and that's going to be regardless of the results. I'm looking at the performances. I think win, lose, or draw, I'm hoping to see the green shoots of recovery. And obviously, we saw that against Sunderland, and then we saw at least for 20 to 30 minutes in terms of our attacking play, especially what we can do against Man City. I mean, part of the reason why we're so perhaps the word is disappointed with the result against Man City is that we gave them a good game. We gave them a better game than most teams would have been, and it's just the result that we're upset about. But then if we look at the performance and against who we performed against, we can see again another progression in terms of our performance. Yeah. And so we've got 2 weeks now off before the Villa game, and I'm hoping to see transfers coming in. I'm hoping to see players recovering.
One of the things about that, Ian was talking about we need a 6, and the 6 was on the other team last night. He was celebrating a little too much, and I understand that it is your team, current team right now. But listen, man, he knows what the hell is happening. He knows what's going on, and it's to me, it's just not a positive look. And certainly some Newcastle fans saw that yesterday and how he was jumping up and down. And listen, it's just not a good look. It's about perspective, Ian. Like, come on, you got to know better than that.
It doesn't look good, but it's still a professional. And
true.
If you can't help yourself get emotionally involved of watching that kind of football, especially when you're around it every single day. So, and who wouldn't be excited the way, if you look at every single goal that was scored, every single goal was world class.
Right.
And I mean, we touched upon our goals. That last goal, De Bruyne's vision. I mean, again, that area where he picked the ball up could have been prevented by us being more tactically, defensively awareness of what he'd done. He picked the ball up and played a lovely ball in behind Trippier. And Oscar Bob's first touch, his ability to shift his feet when Dubravka came out was just absolutely exceptional, world class. Now, getting back to yours, Phil, about tiredness. It's great being physically demanding and going forward with the ball.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you now, when you're playing against a top team like Manchester City, it is just as physically demanding with your brain when they're shifting that ball from side to side. So it's not just about running. You're mentally, physically drained as well about where's that next pass going to be? Where's me runner going? So it's as much as you want an overall massive physically demanding about being tired, physically running. On the other side of it, your mental brain takes a lot of damage when you're up against a top side, like Manchester City.
Yeah. Let's go with some comments real quick and give the people some love. And maybe we can pick up answer some questions. I think that Big Up Lewis says the referee was absolutely shocking. What are you guys' thoughts? Because I've seen a few comments on that. I mean, well, that play with Diaz and Gordon should have been a yellow card, and it was a clear opportunity. He knew he wasn't going to catch up with it. But what are your overall thoughts on the referee last night?
I mean, I think the referee got that one wrong. I think this new rule about where it's somebody's offside, and then they let the player go on, then they put the flag up. Manchester City's goalkeeper got hurt because of that.
Yeah,
and then the decisions after that, what the linesman was just putting his flag up willy-nilly. It was kind of
that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I've made a mistake, but then all of a sudden I'm just going to flag helicopters in. I'm just, so it's like, but for me, Rodri was constantly at that referee all game. Mind, he was just chirping in his ear. To see he was shocking. I don't think he was shocking. I just think some of his decisions was poor, but some of these, it's just. It wasn't one of the worst refereeing decisions I've seen.
Right.
Football did the talking last night, apart from the odd couple of decisions. My focus certainly wasn't on the referee. What I seen last night was fantastic football for Manchester City, ruthless finishing from both sides, and a great game of football.
That is right. Philip, any thoughts on the referee, or you good?
Yeah, I didn't notice. I'm with Ian. I didn't really notice the referee. There's those 2 incidents, and that's it.
Yeah,
And at the same time, that's the law that he has to follow in terms of
right.
letting the play go on.
That is true.
And that was it. I do want us to again going back to the dark arts. Like if Rodri's going at the ref, obviously you can't. I'm not on the pitch, so maybe I want other players. Hopefully, I hope other players were stepping up again to the referee or to Rodri and saying, "Hey, don't be listening to all of that," and all the rest of it. So, but yeah.
That is true. That is true. Let me catch up on the comments right now. Then Lewis says, "In the nighttime games at St. James's Park, when it's under the lights, it's totally different atmosphere. It's hard to explain." By the way, I mean I've seen this before in South American football. I always bring up South America because I am South American. So, but there's a lot of atmosphere in that continent. And we can actually say that it's very similar to St. James's Park. St. James's Park is unique. I mean, it's very unique in England. Very few. I mean, you can say Anfield is probably there, even though some Newcastle fans are going to tell me they don't, that we don't use speakers. But at the end of the day, don't you think that atmosphere could be detrimental to the team if they don't have the personality to not saying that this team in particular, but if the team doesn't have the personality to withstand the amount of pressure that they have to get the result, they have to perform, wouldn't that count against them at some point in time? Or maybe it did a few years back when we were lower in the league. What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, I've been to St. James's Park hundreds and hundreds of times, and a nighttime game under the lights all depends. First tackle, first header, and how Newcastle approach that game. Now, if we are at it from minute one, the crowd will be at it from minute one.
Yeah.
If none of them happen, we are the worst fans to just sit back in our seat, mind, right, and point fingers at our football club, and then come away after the game and say the atmosphere's been absolutely shit.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and that is the pattern from. It doesn't matter if when I've been there with Pardew, it's been the same.
Yeah.
But under the lights, when it's on, there is no better place in this country than St. James's Park.
I can tell, man. I can tell. I was actually watching videos going back to 2021 when the takeover. The first time that our chairman, I forgot his name, Yasir Ajumaran or something.
Ramayan, yeah.
Raman. And man, he was just so delighted. He was looking like his face, like it was a little kid's with a beard, and it was he's just looking around like he couldn't believe it. On TV it gives you goosebumps. Just imagine being in there in person. It must be incredible. Stephen Field says, "Hi, Chris and guys. I sometimes prefer to call Sunderland the Field in case you were confused. But we did well yesterday considering." Yeah, he also mentions the referee. Ian McKenna, big up Ian, says Anthony Gordon did an interview where he said Eddie asked us to push for a third, but we couldn't deliver. So look, that right there, that is it. You can't argue with that. I would never imagine for him to say, let's stay back with 40 minutes to go all over social media, going at the manager. I mean, listen, if we get to, we can't say what we think, of course, and we can have an opinion, but we can't really say 100% the manager told the guys to hold back. How do we know that? You know what I mean? It just sometimes we play. Listen, we play against the other team is a top team too, if not the best. So they also play. You got, you know what I mean? It's crazy, man.
Yeah, well, that was my point. And like Ian said, we wish that what we were doing in the second part of the first half, we didn't have a break. I wish we got that third goal myself before we went in.
Oh yeah.
But we had the break, and Guardiola said to him, we clearly made adjustments. Kyle Walker wasn't pushing up as much as he was in the first half. Ake wasn't going through the middle as much as that. And what they did is just slowly just started grinding us down. Like Ian said, just passing it, short passing. We might go, we might not go. We might go, we might not go. And then, again, when I'm debating with folks and they're saying, "Oh, how can they be tired? They've had a week's rest." I'm like, mate, when the other teams got 72% of the possessions, where at one point they had 600 passes and we had 300, they dictate when you run. They dictate when you stop. They dictate when we go again, whether it goes left, whether you go right. You don't. They tell you what's happening in that game. So he said, but they run the same. But they don't run the same. If they want to slow the game down, they can slow the game down. If they want to speed it up, they want to speed it up. There's a mental and physical fatigue. And Man City, I've got that down to an absolute T. And Guardiola knew, I'll wait till the 70th minute, 80th. I got De Bruyne to come on. I got this young fella, Oscar Bob, to come on. And if I really feel like it, I might just bring on Calvin Phillips if I feel like it. Yeah. So he's got that. He's looking at the bench and he's seeing Kraft, he's seeing Dummett, he's seeing 2 goalkeepers. He's thinking they're not going to have anything for me. And that's what he done. And so I don't understand. People are saying that Eddie Howe hasn't got. Remember, they were criticizing Eddie Howe against Nottingham Forest and against Milan. Why didn't he just sit back? Why are they attacking? That lets you know that Eddie Howe hasn't got a defensive bone in his body. Yeah. So
I do believe at some point in time, you got to be smart and do game management. And but that
what does that look like when people say that? What does that look like? What can he do in that position? I'm not saying he can't do anything, but I haven't heard what he could do.
Is what I would say on that is just basically what the manager's message is. Like, say, hey, let's not go forward without a meaning or just for the sake of it. Let's not drip like that play against Chelsea in that match where Almiron had an open floor, open pitch, and he was running against somebody, and then he could have been smart about it and just go towards the corner and waste time, and instead he tries to shoot from that corner, a shot that he's not going to score, and then right after that the Trippier mistake comes. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, let's be smart about
that's a different game. We had possession in that game.
Right.
At least
that's
40,
what I'm saying.
This is Man City. What could we have done against Man City?
No, but again, I'm not saying that about yesterday's particular match. I just said in general, we should, you should always consider game management. I don't believe in this Postecoglou Chelsea type idea where you have 5 players on the pitch and you think you're going to be scoring, attacking nonstop. I don't believe in that.
Chris, I totally agree with that, with the Almiron one, because I absolutely done my tits in that day. Because we had that game, right? Yeah. But I think Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall's walked down that half-time tunnel and went, I think we need a third here, mate.
Yeah. But that is the right thing, though. That is the right thing. It is the right thing.
Yeah, and I think it's been a little bit of a remembrance where we were 3-1 up in the league game at the start of last season when you put the free kick in.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, you need to get we could have been 3-1 up. And I still think Man City are that good. That still maybe...
It's not enough.
It isn't just quite enough. And it's no disrespect to us. And I mean, you missed one person out the bench there. Jack Grealish was sat on the bench as well. Now, and... game management where you can sit back, I don't believe we have the players to be that mindful and to go, come on,
right,
against Man City. I mean,
well, the reason why, because
if you think about it though, when we are playing on the front foot, Man City still put us on the back foot. And first half, their forward play dictated to us when we try to press, but what they do is they suck you into that tight areas where they make you look like you haven't even ran. So when we'll press, 2 players will go in, and then all of a sudden you'll find a player that's in acres of space, and you'll go, why is he in acres of space for? Because they're that technically good. So you've just got to remember who we're playing. I agree it looks bad at times. You're playing against the best team in the world. And why are the best team in the world? Because of what they do. And to come up, you know what it is? I was proud as a Newcastle fan last night.
100%.
And I'm still proud today, even though we've got beat. And my only wish is that our bench was stronger so we could change things. And then you can be more critical to go, at least we had better players to come off the bench and we still got beat.
I think if you just had either Tonali or Joe Linton just to come on, that De Bruyne stuff doesn't happen.
He gets knocked down somewhere.
He gets knocked down.
Because Guimaraes can't do it all. You know what I mean? He can't be, he can't do it all. And you got to be proud of Newcastle. And again, I mean, if you know my stuff, my content, you know that I've criticized, and Philip been with me long enough. I don't think Ian has seen me criticized yet because I just don't feel like I need to. Right now, I mean, I don't have a problem telling it how I think it is, not how, you know, I'm not 100% right, but like in this particular match, you got to be proud because you're seeing glimpses of what can be and what happened last season. And it's just, and you look at we don't have Joe Linton for God's sake. You couldn't have Tino Livramento to come on as a sub. And by the way, fans, you got to look and do a little bit of information, dig into information because Tino Livramento couldn't have played. Right after the match, people were killing Eddie Howe for not putting Livramento in. We got to do a little bit of homework before we start tweeting. Because listen, that would be if he never came on, then I would have probably been thinking, Dan Burn was tired. But and I do criticize actually the fact that Lewis Hall comes at the 85th minute for what? There's nothing he can do, or bring you anything. And maybe you guys think it's differently.
I don't think it's been. I don't know what you or you guys think. I don't think Ian's been good enough. I don't think he trusts Lewis. I really don't.
See, I played left back all my life, right? And last night, I thought the main threat was down. I thought Kieran Trippier, it was either coming through the middle of them little pockets with Foden picking them up one, but I was never worried about the left-hand side. It was always going to be if Doku picks it up, and I thought Kieran Trippier had a fantastic game last night.
Yeah. Yes, he did. He did.
They criticized him. They killed him on Twitter, man.
Yeah, and I just don't understand. I thought Trippier was back to his best last night.
He did.
Doku, right, is probably one of the most attacking players. And I was shocked that he didn't play Grealish because I'm a massive Grealish fan. I think he's world class, and I was more comfortable when I thought Grealish was going to play simply because he was never going to outrun Trippier, and Trippier's got a good brain, a defensive brain, but Grealish has got a fantastic football. He would draw fouls. I didn't think he would quite hurt us, and I thought that the other side would have been Walker coming up on that side, which was quite. He's coming from deep. Dan Burn would quite cope with him. But when I seen Doku there, I thought, Trippier's going to be for a right old game. But I thought Dan Burn done all right. I thought he was steady. I
think he left Walker open though in the first goal.
But it goes back to what Ian was saying, like because teams, Man City do this on purpose. They go to one side of the pitch and they do their short pass and everything, and it looks like we're not running, like we're not pressing or something, because then they spread the play 50, 60, 70 yards. And Walker's by himself, and you're thinking, why is he looking at Walker? Well, then I know I made a remark that why is he leaving them alone? But even as Ian and you guys are talking, it's because the play is down that side. If Dan Burn just walks over to that side and leaves a massive gap in the middle for somebody else to run into,
there are. I mean, you can stay in the middle between there and here and kind of engage. But listen, at the end, it's just semantics, right? At the end of the day. Who knows?
I'll quickly say something, right? I wasn't blessed with pace when I played left full back. Dan Burn's not blessed with pace. I'm telling you now, he'd be stuck in two minds to go close to Kyle Walker or drop off. Because if he goes close, he's getting burnt.
That is true, and that's why he's not a left back, but he plays as a left back.
Yeah, and he does okay.
Yeah. Okay, I do. Ian wants to have the last word. That's okay, Ian. Don't worry about it, man. I got anybody that's out there in England, right now, late. Well, it's not even that late. I get this used to saying that. It's not even that late. It's like what, 10 p.m.
So can I just ask? Can I just ask Ian, because obviously as a left back, Lewis Hall was presumably brought in as a left back. I don't think he is a left back. I think he's a left mid or a left defensive mid, likely. Why do you think Howe's not playing him? Because he hasn't got Kyle Walker pace, but he has the pace. Why do you think Howe's not playing him?
The times I've seen him play, it doesn't look like he's very composed. He looks very. He plays a lot with his head down. He's got a lot of pace, and he looks to. He's more like a wing back in my type of thing. I don't think he's strong enough as a fullback. I really don't. And I don't. When was the last time? When he's played, when was the last time he got up and played a lovely cross in? Like Kieran Trippier. If Kieran Trippier is the ultimate right back in mine, can you imagine put him on the left hand side? You've got to have natural where you go down that side. I think Everton Luka Dean who went from Aston Villa to Everton.
Yeah.
Now, I think he's a half decent left back, and that's what I find in a left back. What you should be doing, you should be defensively strong, but you've got to be more offensively going forward. You've got to be good with the ball, and you've got to deliver good crosses in and be more effective. I don't think Lewis Hall brings any of the. And I haven't seen any of that to me.
So do you think they dropped a clanger on Hall, or did
Yeah,
they ever intend to send him as a left back? Do you think maybe he was meant to be somewhere else, or do you think he was the intention was for a left back? Then they saw him in training, they were like, oh no, he's not a left back.
But he all the reports when he was when I watched when we beat them 1-0 at home. He played for Chelsea at home when we beat them 1-0, and when Willock scored, right? And it was like, do you know, like when you go, God, he stood out. What a player! It was like it was just wasn't there for me. And then when he was going, we've signed because obviously we were linked with Cucurella, as well. And I'm not a fan of Cucurella either. I think they've dropped a massive ball ache, mate. And the price tag at the end of it as well doesn't warrant for him, in my eyes, to be. That's why he'll go Tino in there rather than if you've got this faith on this young kid, you would play him. No matter what. You would play him, and I think they've seen enough that his ability of what. Don't get us wrong, he must have been scouted and everything, but I just think. I don't. For me personally, I don't. I just don't know what he brings, and I can see why he's not playing him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a fair point. Listen, we're having a great show, so please keep smashing the like button. If you're new to the channel, if you're a Magpie, subscribe to the channel right now on the bottom right big red button that says subscribe. If you don't mind, hit the bell. That way you don't miss out on any more future shows. And of course, the most important thing again is just smashing the like button. Big up Kieran as well. He just subscribed to the show. And I'm kind of filtering out comments that as far as to go with the subject of the match review, but I am also showing the ones that just to give some love. But listen, we got to do again. We got to do the player scores. We gotta hey, I know that you guys think that everybody got a 10. And that's cool. But I know that Ian thinks that everybody's got a 10, man. And everything is perfect. But we got to get down and dirty, man. We got to talk about every single player, including subs. So we can start with that now. And let me just pause this comment right there. All right. And we can start with. By the way, hopefully Ederson, gets well soon, man. It was just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
Again, that rule is kind of weird. If it's clear offside, just raise the damn flag up. And like you said, Ian, after he got chewed up by Man City players, the next play he just raises up, and it's perception, people, in referees and managers. If you get yelled at, don't do exactly what they want you to do the next play, because you look like a punk. That is just it's the honest truth. But we got to start with our guys, man. I don't care about Man City, but Dubravka, he made some good saves now, Martin.
He had that's goalkeeping.
I want to say one thing. A lot of people hating on Dubravka. I didn't understand it because the man hadn't played in a long time. And against Tottenham, he came on. He was cold, and he had to do something. And then the next match, of course, is his first match back. So you're going to see some rustiness from somebody that, especially a goalkeeper that hasn't played in a while. They're not like regular players where they get exchanged often. So, but now you can say that we don't need a backup goalkeeper, or a De Gea per se. You know what I mean? What are you guys' thoughts? What's the score on Dubravka's performance last night?
Yeah, I'll give it. Me personally, I'll give him about 8. Even though he's conceded 3 goals, but again, as Ian said, they were world class. If you're ever going to concede a goal, those are probably goals you're going to concede. Yeah. He had a fantastic game. When he's parrying the shots, he's parrying them away, doing very well. That's what you're supposed to do, and he just looks better. He looks more confident. I think the defense feel more confident with how he's progressing as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give him an 8.
All right, Ian.
I thought his handling was good. I thought that the save onto the crossbar was fantastic. Again, he showed strong hands. He's getting better and better. So Again, I thought he was one of our better players last night, so I'm going to give him an 8 as well.
Yeah. Then we got. I'm gonna give him an 8. Yeah, that's a fair assessment. We go to center backs, Fabian Schär and Sven Botman. Let's go with Fabian Schär. How was Schär's performance, or Schär, however you want to say? I say Schär, but what are your thoughts, Philip?
Yeah, for me there was flashes, like obviously in pointed out the Doku challenged, and when he went the one occasion he did push forward or whatnot and try to take the game. I still feel I think I don't know why they not as proactive as they used to be in terms of pushing forward. I think the fact as soon as De Bruyne got the ball and they rushed back disappointed me. I give him a 6.5.
6. Ooh. All right. Ian?
I thought he was quite solid. I thought he was quite compact.
Here we go, man.
So yeah, some of these passing was good. Some of these long balls didn't quite go off, but overall, I don't think he put a foot wrong. So I'm going to give him a 7.
All right. Yeah, I'll say a 7. I mean, I don't think he had a problem. As crazy as it is, I thought that Botman actually played a little bit Schär played a little bit better than Botman last night, I think. But nothing. I don't think we didn't make mistakes, to say the least, that cost you the game. Kind of like those mistakes by Trippier before. So it's just about the team, and also about the blue team in front of you, that they just have a lot of big quality players. But Sven Botman last night, what is your assessment on him last night?
Yeah, again, there wasn't any errors from them. They did what they could. I'll probably give him about the same as Fabian Schär. To be honest, 6.5.
All right, Ian.
Well, if you remember rightly, I thought he started fantastically well, defending great. He made a slight mistake, which I think he let Docker win halfway.
Yeah. That was a challenge.
I thought he was done for pace, and he showed pace, and he recovered and made a great tackle. And I thought he grew from that. He gave Alvarez nothing. So I thought he was one of our standout defenders.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him an 8.
Ooh, all right. I'll give him a 7.5. Not bad. Even though I think he played, which is crazy because my score on Schär was lower than, even though I thought he played a little bit. I'm just I'm just a host, man. I don't know nothing about football. You guys do. This is my favorite. This is my favorite time of the. We go to the left side with Dan Byrne, man. This is my favorite time of the week. Oh man, he ain't gonna say 12 on this one. He ain't gonna say 12, man. But Philip, Dan Byrne, how did he perform? Number 33.
He did what he could. I think he did relatively well. He kept that left side. He did his best in terms of getting the ball on from his left.
Man, time out, man. What is this body ball we're playing here, man? He did what he could. You put me out there, and I'll say I did what I could. So just give me a 10. What the hell does that mean?
So,
man, look, I didn't know you were like that, bro.
So look, you can't ask a fish to walk on land. So if you're looking for
don't
pace,
put him on land,
and you're looking for athleticism, well, he's got relative athleticism, but not as much as he can for a left back. So, in terms of he did show good positional awareness. Obviously, that one time Kyle Walker did get in, they got a goal. But like you said, I wasn't overly. When I'm concerned, I'm not overly concerned about what Kyle Walker was doing. So I think he showed some signs of kind of doing well. I was more concerned of what was happening right in front of our centre backs. That's why I kind of gave the lower score in the end. So for me, I give him a 7.
Oh, man. All right, I'll let that go. Go ahead, Ian.
Ask yourself this though: apart from the cross for the goal, can you think of any errors that he made?
But does he have to make an error? You're already
He was solid.
judging him by an error that he could make, not that he played terrific. He was such a great left back
I
last
did
night.
not say he played terrific. I said he was solid.
Well, what's
So-
your score?
Being solid, I would give him a 7.
Yeah, I think he was a 6, man. I think he was a 6. He was just all right. He was there. He was there, man. You know, hey, by the 50th minute, you know he's dead. By the 50th, 55 minute, when Burn just starts walking like this, he has this concerned look on his face. You know, you already know, man. You already know what time it is. They're about to cook his ass, man. Come on now. When he gets this walk, this Frankenstein drunk walk, man, he's done. He's done, man. You got to put somebody on that right side. You got to put Ilanga. You got to put everybody on the right side, man. Pep was like, we got to get on the right side. It's an open freeway, man. There's no traffic on that side. But no, I love Bird, man. He's probably one of the guys that can take as much heat as you can give him. He's not a guy that's going to be talking crap. Kind of like I don't want to compare him, but similar to what Maguire, they kill him all over the world and he doesn't say nothing. He's just straight face. But yeah, I don't think Burn gets scapegoated as much as him, but regardless. All right, so Kieran Trippier. Surprisingly, SofaScore gave him a 6.7. Man, I don't think that's fair. I think he played better than that. But yeah, Phil.
Yeah, I give him. He played. He did play better. A lot of action was on that right side, and I think that's part of the reason why they give him a 6.5 because there was just so much going on there. So that partly because they wanted to attack on the left, so they put a lot of action on the right, so they can attack on the left. I do give him a 6.5. I wish I could have seen. This is again hard to say this, but I would have wanted to see a little bit more from the attacking element. But again, that's not how the game was. You have to kind of judge the game for what it was essentially. I give him a 6.5, but it's a very good 6.5.
A 6.5.
Yeah.
Man, it ain't nothing. You're not about to just say I'm going to give him a good 6.5. I'm going to give. There's no bad or good. Give him the number, man. You say 8 or 9. That means good. 6.5.
What did you give Dan, Ben?
7.
And you give Kieran Trippier a 6.5.
I did.
You got whiskey in your coffee.
Yeah, man.
No, you're right. Maybe a bit. You know what? I won't be a fraud. I'll give him a 7 as well. I did because I think our fullbacks did better than our centre backs. To be honest.
Yeah. No, I think Trippier was an 8 for me. But go ahead.
I thought Trippier was back to his best. I just thought his defensive was great. His position was fantastic. His ball retention was brilliant. His leadership stood out like a sore thumb.
Can you still hear us, by the way? Because
much better.
I can hear you much better, man.
It's like you do.
My God, I can hear you like Howard Stern right
I've
now.
come back to life like Dan Burn.
Yeah, man. But yeah.
So I thought his leadership was absolutely fantastic last night. A good real captain out there, and for me, Trips is a 7.5. Mate, I thought he was good, really, really good.
Yeah. Let's go to midfield. Lewis Miley. Man, I don't know. Sort of a quiet game for him.
Baptism of fire. Baptism of fire for Miley. But he did his. Go on. Oh, you're giving a score first, aren't you?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
I'll give him a 6.5. He was in the baptism of fire in that Man City midfield, but he didn't let his head drop. He continued to attack in terms of tried his best in terms of defending well, chasing shadows a lot of the time, but he did on occasions. I think one time he barged Kovacic off the ball. I thought, yeah, here we go. That's the Miley I like to see. I'll give him a 6.5.
6.5 for the kid. Yeah, I would say 6.6, 6.5. Go ahead, Ian.
I just think he looked like a young player against world-class midfielders. He tried his best. He got about the pitch a bit. Like I say, I think his ball retention was at times tidy, but he gave the ball away in bad areas at times as well. Probably a 6.5 for me as well.
Yeah. Then we go to the middle with Bruno Guimaraes. I mean, I'm going to just go ahead first and say he was an 8.5 for me. I mean, he can't be everywhere, and he tried. So that pass to Isak, oh my God.
And also, do you remember when he did that last two almost ditch tackles in the box before Rodri got the ball, and I thought, this guy, man, he's doing his best. He's playing for the shirt. He really is. Yeah, I agree.
There was an offside too. That he maybe assisted an offside. And in the very beginning, wasn't he? A goal that was called off. Well, that goal that Ederson got hurt, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. And obviously that assist to Isak as well. Again, without looking, fantastic. Yeah, I think 8.5. He did all that he could. He really could.
Yeah.
He did.
So what's your score, man?
8.5. 8.5.
Oh, okay. I know you're about to give him a 7. All that good talk, but it's a good 7. No, he's at 8.5. Go ahead, Ian.
I mean, I thought normally when Bruno's on, he takes it from minute 1. And I thought last night that first 20 minutes City were that dominant. When he picks it up in tight areas, he's that good at getting away. He got the ball in tight areas and turned, but then there was a Kovacic there, a Rodri there, it just broke things up. But for me, he learned from that, and he stopped getting into them little tight areas and he found himself space, right, and he grew and grew into the game. And him finding that space for the goal, and that pass from the blind side was absolutely fantastic for the goal. Yeah. But it was these little flicks as well, what he was doing. He's tackling off the ball was doing. I'm one of Bruno's biggest fans. And last night, I think when he needs to step up against the top teams, you see a different level from Bruno. And it shows how good he is and how lucky we are to have him at this football club. And I thought Bruno was an 8.5 last night. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, 8.5 for me as well. Then we go on my other man. The left side, man, is my favorite side because now we got to go to Longstaff, and this is just my favorite side, man. I like, yes sir. But Sean, he disappeared, and he showed up. He showed up to make a foul, right. It was gonna be a penalty, and then he left again. So I'm gonna give him a 4, man. Longstaff was not. He was not, man. He was gonna be a 3.5, but I'm gonna give him 5.5 points to just because he didn't commit the penalty. He did it outside of that. I'm gonna give him that.
You've been waiting. If there was one player who was waiting to rate.
Yeah, man. Ooh. Yes, sir. Philip knows, man. And I forget about it too, but then I look at him like, oh my God. What's up with these 30 numbers, man? 33, 36. Well, Bruno's 39, so I shouldn't talk about it. He's keeping the number 30s alive, man, at Newcastle. Yeah, man. But Philip, how's your boy, man? How you rate your boy?
Against Sunderland, he didn't play well, but the one thing I gave him credit for was his off the ball work. On the ball, he wasn't good, but off the ball, he was good in covering Bruno. The one thing he needed to do on this game is to at least be good off the ball, and protect Bruno. Bruno was having to do a lot of the stuff for him, and that's what was stopping us from being in our at least having some sort of control over the ball to some extent. So 5.5 for me for Sean Longstaff.
5.5. Ian?
Yeah, on Twitter, Bet365 put on one comment about obviously Sean Longstaff and I went passenger.
Yeah.
Because I felt the game passed him by. I just felt he was the weakest out of the three. I thought Miley was better than him, and I just thought, for me, I was disappointed with him because I thought he could be miles better, and he could have contributed more to the game. I just thought he had a poor game. So I'm going to give him a 5.
Yeah.
And now on that note, though, just now that we were talking about Longstaff,
Is not gonna let it go.
Yeah, we're about to move on. We're about to move on.
He's got the teeth in.
But like this dude, I don't think the most positive guy like Ian could justify this madness to put this dude as a starter. Not when everybody comes back on, you know what I mean? If Joe Linton is okay, if Joe Linton, which is not, I think that Joe Willigan and Harvey Barnes are going to come back in 30, 37. But Joe Linton is he should be back. Well, 3 weeks, 2 weeks and a half, maybe. But when he comes back,
he's up for 6 weeks. He's up for 6 weeks. He's going for 6 weeks, mate.
Oh my god, man! We're gonna see Longstaff the whole time, man. But whenever Joe Linton comes back, like he can't play. Like Miley, because there's he's actually been playing Longstaff over Miley.
Yeah, you can see why, because Eddie Howe's already turned around and said he's using Miley because he's got nothing else. He would like to bring Miley in gradually, but because of what's happened, he's have to put him in. You can't tell me, man, if Tonali, Joe Willock, Joe Linton, Bruno, that Sean Longstaff players, no chance. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance.
And you know what? The fact that he's not even playing the Hall, again, going back to Hall, he doesn't trust Hall at all. Like, Miley's 17 years old. He's played like 10 games in 30 days. And he wouldn't put Hall in at all in that side.
Ian, hold on. The Ian in the chat. I appreciate Ian, man. We're going to be best friends. But it says Longstaff was outstanding last season. People have short memories.
Yeah,
it ain't about having short memory. Football has short memory. You know what I mean? Are you gonna tell Miley not to play? Miley had a pass to Isak that Isak could have. It would have been the third. And Miley, who actually wasn't the greatest last night, he had the mental capacity of making a play, that great play. And so I'm not. Go ahead, Eden. Go ahead.
Almiron had a purple patch last season where everything he hit went at the back of the net, and everybody thought he was outstanding. 3 weeks ago, everybody wanted him out the club and never seen ever again. So people do have short memories. And now, me personally, I said, why doesn't he not use his right foot? Almiron put more crosses in last night with his right foot than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And Ian says, well, yes, every player has off days. Man, he's been off. He's been off, brother. Sometimes you got to get back to work. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get back to work, man, because he's been off in the Bahamas somewhere. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, but listen, I think that Longstaff could be. I don't think we should sell him. I mean, I just feel like he should be in the club. Just he's a Geordie. Give him some love, but he's not. Man, it's tough to watch sometimes, man.
I think Joe Linton and Bruno cover a multitude of sins,
especially Joe Linton.
Especially Joe Linton.
Yeah.
Especially Joe Linton. They cover a multitude of sins. And yesterday was very, very telling as to, what's happening with Sean Longstaff. And again, I wish we had Tonali. I wish we had all those players. And I'm sure Eddie Howe's watching him in training thinking, you get our system now, which is annoying. Obviously, the first part of the season, he wasn't getting it. And Sean Longstaff actually stepped in and our midfield was corrected. But Sean Longstaff stepped in when we had Bruno and Joe Linton. And so it makes such a big difference. Joe Linton makes such a massive difference. And so
he certainly does. Yeah. It's okay. Ian is trying to roast me, man, but you can't roast me.
And I was going to say that goes back to my point about the centre backs, and maybe now that I'm talking about Longstaff, part of the reason why maybe they didn't perform as well as I know they performed decent, but as well as they could have, I think, is because they weren't given as much protection as they should have been from Longstaff, I think. And Bruno was everywhere having to do everything.
He was trying everything. No, I think he played terrific against PSG. But football continues, man. We got to keep playing. You
He
know what
wasn't
I
the
mean?
only. He wasn't the only one that played fantastic against PSG.
Dan Burn, he scored. You see that header by Dan
Everybody
Burn? Oh my
played.
God, that header by Dan
Everybody
Burn
played.
was so hard. It knocked the goalkeeper in the goal. So listen,
Hey, man.
and I'm telling right there because he's telling me protecting one of our own. I'm protecting. I'm telling him keep him at Newcastle. You know what I mean? Getting paid for nothing. Just put him in. I'm saying, listen, man. I'm not trying to. I think Longstaff is. I appreciate what he did. You know what I mean? He was there putting the dirty work when we needed it. You know, so I appreciate it. But I'm just saying he's not performing. Am I lying? See Ian right there. He's the most positive guy in the world. He'll tell you he's not playing good. Why don't you comment?
Well, he was a passenger last night, and nobody can say he wasn't. But
Yeah.
I've been on previous shows where he's honest as the day is long, and he puts in so much work off the ball, and he just yesterday he was a passenger for me. He was our poorest player,
and he did that against Sunderland. He was working a lot. So praise him when we need to praise him, man. But last night he wasn't there. Okay, let's go forward. Let's go to the forwards, man. We got they got Isak at 6 points.
Yeah, he after the 65th, 70th minute, he was off. His legs were gone.
What is he supposed to do?
No, I know, but he still got 25 minutes to play, and so that's what they judged him on.
Yeah, but okay, well, it is what it is. But Alexander Isak, the Mac Slayer, man, he's a guy. You give him one chance, man, he's going to
one shot, one kill. Isak. I mean, if the game finished at half time, I would have said 8.5 for Mr. Isak. But unfortunately, there's a second half to play, and I can feel his frustration and Gordon's frustration. Give me something, and he was chasing shadows for a lot of the time. So I'll give him a good 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say because he's a striker, so he even though he can create it for himself, when we're getting pushed back, I mean, what is he supposed to do? You know what I mean? I don't think that I can't blame him for that. So, and yes, he could also try to do some things. If he was actually, remember against Nottingham Forest, he was playing left wing. He was doing great. This is the first time I ever seen somebody like Isak dribbling and cutting and doing all that stuff. It was amazing. So I just say 7.5. I mean, that goal was terrific, though.
Yeah,
man, that goal was terrific. Ian,
I mean, the plus point for me with Isak is he's looking back to his full fitness and he's looking sharp. Yeah. And he's looking like the old Isak, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he's one of the best strikers in the business, mate. I really do.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, I think there's only Haaland better than him.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying now. Even rival fans are saying now.
Right? I say that. Tell me, give me my flowers, Philip. I've been telling you for 2 months. How is this guy going to tell? I say this thing every week, and he's going to say, yeah, a lot of people are saying that. Rival fans are saying that. Come on, man.
No, but I just think his movement, right, is scary. And when he, if you notice, I think he moved. Was it? Did Almiron put the ball across last night and went across the face of the goal? His movement went one way, then the other. The defender looked at him, and then he went across, and it was like the defender didn't have a clue where he was going.
Yeah.
But his intelligence to finish just like that, bang, is just exceptional. And I thought last night, in spells, he was world class. But it's frustration for him.
Yeah,
I think if he was in a Man City team last night, he would have scored a hatful. Right, he would have scored a hatful. But based on last night, I thought there was times where he was only his own 18-yard box defending. There was times where he was out wide working hard. I thought it was an all-round perfect performance from Isak. I know he said he was tired, but he did a lot of work off the ball. His finishing was fantastic. I'm going to give him an 8.5.
Yeah. Look at you finish like you work for Sky Sports, man.
You made me want to upgrade my score.
This dude, man. You know what I mean?
He deserves more.
Newcastle.
Isak deserves so much more. He deserves so much more, like in terms of what's happening. And he deserves so much more. I just, it is what it is.
No, but he's been terrific, man.
It will come.
It will come, though, because, like I said, we've built a team around, obviously, Botman
Bruno and Isak.
Yeah.
Just got to get the pieces together from the outside. It'll all come together. We've just got to be patient.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna put Ian on my like alarm or something like, and I'm gonna just like record his voice. Like I can't be bothered to switch on.
I'm telling you, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so let's go to Miguel Almiron. I think he had a great game again, back to back. So
good game.
I'd say 7.58 is deserving. You know, he was crossing with his right foot, like Ian said. You know, something that we're not used to seeing. But I think he's after you can see the change on the Sunderland match, where you got to say that Eddie Howe got onto him, talked to him nicely, rough, however it was, he got the point across.
Even learned Spanish. Even
in Spanish, in Spanish, yes, sir, yes. You know, you got to get the team comes first, man. You got to play for the team. You're a right winger. You can score, you can shoot, but that can't be everything that you do all the time. There's going to be somebody when you're dribbling past somebody, because he is fast as it can be. You're going to leave somebody behind. You're going to pull the defense towards you. There is going to be an open pass, and he's learning to do that. And last night, man, he was terrific. So I would say 8 points for Miguel Almiron. So go ahead, Philip.
Yeah, I agree. 8. Again, him and Kieran Trippier back to their old ways, talking to each other constantly, stopping and doing against Man City, doing their best to stop their attacks from the right and doing that. They look back to, and that's the frustrating part about the because people are so focused on the end result and what happened at the end. There's so many like points of green shoots of, like I keep on saying, green shoots of recovery and really good performances. Isak, Trippier, Almiron, those guys, Dubravka, just fantastic. Like, yeah, it's good to see him. 8. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah. Ian?
I thought his work rate off the ball last night was back to his best. I thought his positional play was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think he's had a kick up the arse, mate. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think it could be down to as well of knowing that there's no pressure on him. If you know, like he's just going to go out and play no matter what. Now, it looked like if he had the hunger back, like he played if you remember the first half against PSG, the intensity of him was absolutely unbelievable. By the way, and last night I thought he was back to the best, and I thought he was probably one of our best players, mind. Last night, and I've been his worst critic for a good couple of weeks. So I thought he was joint man of match with the other forward on the other side, which we'll get on to, which I'm going to give Miggy an 8. Right.
All right. Well, the
biggest
take on this one is that Ian said that he criticized somebody. But that you know that
that means that person must have been awful. Goodness.
Yeah, that means Almiron must have said something.
Positive criticism always goes best, by the
way. No, big up Ian, man. And then we're gonna finish with Anthony Gordon. Another great performance for Gordon, man. You know, that finish too. Actually, I didn't think it was gonna be a goal, because I don't know. I just got a feeling like on that play with Lewis Miley that he passed to Isak, I thought that was gonna be a goal. The whole time Isak had it, and with Gordon, I felt like he was gonna try to, for the pass, you know, do something. He cuts through the middle, man. That ball just curves in. Oh my God, I damn near lost my mind. But
do you know what's so frustrating? And I don't know why I'm frustrated, because I knew this month was going to be like this. I knew that that we're going to be in recovery and we're going to see really good performances. We're going to see a return to form to a lot of our players, but our results may not reflect that because of the teams that we're playing, i.e. Man City. And just to see Isak and Gordon, people keep talking partnerships. That's one of the best partnerships in the Premier League right now. But you can't see that because Newcastle are 10th and they've lost 8 or 9 games in the last or whatnot. But then, we're down the league table, but we're the ones with a positive goal difference between everybody else. Gordon's having the season of his life. He hasn't never scored and assisted this many goals in his Premier League career. He saw what Isak did and he said, you know what, I'm going to have some of that. And he went and he punished them and he worked hard again. And when I saw the interview, I felt his frustration. Because he really wanted to go out at Man City, but he wasn't getting. He wanted to go at Kyle Walker. He wanted to go at them. He just wasn't getting the ball, and they were being forced to go back and more. I love his attitude. I love his growth. I give him the only reason I don't give him. I'll give him a 9. I'll give him a 9. I'll give him a 9. He deserves it.
Yeah. Ian.
I just thought, again, I think Isak and Gordon are combining absolutely fantastic. They're contributing to each other so well, and it makes me laugh when we get beat to bring up the Alan Maximan and say, well, we've let the wrong winger go. Bullshit. Alan Maximan boiled my piss. Right, and I will criticise a player, right, because he got you off your seat twice a season, right? And that's about it. And his work rate off the ball was appalling. His attitude was stinking. And we have got one of this winger, what we've got now, Anthony Gordon. He'll work his tits off. He'll give everything for the badge, right? And he's quality. And he will score goals, like he said there. He's never scored so many goals, never scored so many assists. And we are only at the winter time, and it's only going to get better for Newcastle United. He was my man of the match last night, Anthony Gordon, and it was a 9.5. I thought he was just exceptional, mate, for Newcastle United.
All right, let's go to the highlighted comments. That way we can finish up because we're running off time. Well, it's not that late over there, man. I'm not gonna let these guys off the hook yet. Mick Hodgson says the game was won on the strength of the bench. KDB coming on at the 80th minute against a team of tired, weary legs. Only was going to end one way. Yeah, that is true. Good point of view. Ian McKenna, we do, but we have no cover. Our bench yesterday was 2 keepers and 5 defenders. Yeah, man, that's tough, man.
Don't forget the 2 youth players that's on there as well.
True.
It's not they're not senior players on that bench. You've got goalkeepers, right, and then you've got youth players. When you look at the other bench, you've got international £100 million players on their bench.
Oh, yeah.
We've got youth. That's the difference. Just remember that.
Big difference. Stephen Field, no way we were defensive there, just too good. But without a bench, you're effed, especially with the way we play. Mick says at times our press looked as good as it was last season. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It definitely was. This was the best match we played all this month. That's been a really tough month to watch, which is crazy. Do you guys agree?
I can't remember who we played. This month we played
Nottingham
Sunderland.
Nottingham Forest, Luton.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Stephen Field, we need more quality in certain positions, but time will solve that one as we grow. Rome wasn't built in one day, but injuries is our curse at the moment.
Yeah.
Mick, we had nothing to back up our first choice 11. City had any amount of quality ready to come on. Ian, we could potentially have 5-6 players back after break. Is that true? Is that true?
No,
right?
No.
Maybe 2. Barnes.
We might get 2. We might get 2 exactly.
But Barnes should be closed though. I mean, right? This month, this coming up month.
But Harvey Barnes was due to come back. There was Botman and Barnes who was supposed to be back for the AC Milan game, which was Champions League. Botman made the bench, and Barnes had a setback. Now that setback, when did we play? We played December. I think it was December the 13th. We played AC Milan, so it's knocked him back that far. Now Barnes is now training on grass with his boots on, kicking footballs. So that's positive. So, but there's difference when you can kick a football about, but then when it becomes contact when you're in training, that's when you've got to. So that's when Eddie Howe's kind of going, we don't know what he's going to become back because he's never been tested around the team in contact. It's the same with Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy's running about with his shoulder. He's doing fine. But again, it's non-contact. Again, that's why Eddie Howe's not putting any time on it because it's non-contact. Anything can happen in contact. I think them are the only 2 that are looking like it's going to be close. The rest, there's no time scale on.
Ian McKenna says, why didn't the ref go to look at VAR for Miggy's handball? They sort of decided it for him. Yeah, there was a call for a handball, but then again, yeah, you're right. They didn't repeat it, and that's kind of how they sort of direct things. If they don't show it to people as much, then we just don't talk about it. We forget about it. So again, I am not necessarily. I don't know if it was a handball or not in our favor. I just don't know. I don't know if you guys saw anything or remember that play in particular. No, at the end of the day, man, listen, we just got beat by a better team at this point.
Yeah.
Last night. And Ian, there have been emails sent from the club warning people about persistent standing and facing bans. Hey, I never heard about that one, but that could possibly explain a little bit of not. But Ian, you go to the stadium, so have you gotten any emails telling you not to stand up and jump up and down or chant?
Nobody's going to tell me what I go to football to a stadium and tell me to sit down. There is times where you stand up. There's times where you sit down. If you've got a ticket in the safe standing area now, you can stand up for 90 minutes, no problem. In the areas where the seats, you should be sat, right? But if people's going to stand up, I don't think they are season ticket holders in that, because of all the times I've been at St James's Park, I've never had nobody sit next to me or stand constantly next to me. Regarding emails getting sent or warning about potential standing, I think that's a load of cods wallop, to be honest.
That must be Manchester City Stadium, because they don't get up at all.
No.
Ian says on the rare occasions we want it back, it came straight back at us 5 seconds later. He's probably talking about the play.
Can I say something on that though? When you're playing against a top side and you're working that hard to get ball retention back, right? You're in recovery mode, and then when you get the ball back, it's naturally to try and play fast, right? Top teams will always recover, and they'll always be that much more composed to keep the ball in retention.
Yeah.
But when your players are out of position because you're pressing all over, it looks like we give the ball away. In my eyes.
Kieran says Lewis Hull will become a key player at Newcastle. Scored a great volley against Man United. He's going to be a proper baller. Hey, we're talking. Oh yeah, Lewis Hull, not Lewis Miley. Yeah, Lewis Hull. He played great with Manchester United, but it's definitely the training that's probably keeping him from playing many minutes. And as you see, Philip and Ian just don't give a damn about him. So I don't know. I'm here supporting him, man. I'm the one who wants to, these guys support.
It's back in Lewis Hall, but Sean Longstaff, he can go away.
These guys. No, I never said that. I said Longstaff can get paid sitting in the bench if he wants to, but but as far as playing him every week, then I have a problem with that. But Lewis Hall doesn't get more than 5 minutes, man. I don't know, but hey, it's subject for another day. Beard, the last one, says these late goals are becoming a weak habit. Yeah, it is happening. But then again, it has to do with just we're out of legs. No, we can't make any changes. And at some point in time, if you have a team like Manchester City, it looks like it's bound to happen at some point in time. Ian was saying Murphy, Barnes, Wilson, and Tino could be back. Well, Tino, yeah, because he just has. I think he just has the runs, doesn't he? Or he just has this quick buyers maybe or something like that. We don't know yet. He just has the shits, man. Sorry, it just ate something. But Ian is answering to the other Ian, is saying Steve Wraith literally or Wraith. How do you say his last name? Wraith.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this says literally read the email out for a few hours ago that it's about people standing up in front of like the disabled area and stuff.
That's different.
Oh yeah. That's
completely different what he said first. If people are standing up in front of disabled people, that is bang out of order, and rightly so. They should be sending emails out to them people in them areas, not to stand up in front of them, because people, they're in wheelchairs and stuff like that. So that's bang out of order. So if you reiterated his comment better, that would have been, I would have said he's bang on with the email. Totally right.
Yeah, it states persistent standing in quotes in grounds for a ban, and this email is your warning. Man, St. James's Park is coming out with bans and warnings, man. Listen, it's been a great show. I appreciate, of course, Ian Davison and Philip from Toon Tactics TV. You can subscribe to Philip in the description below. His channel is right there. He's got a great video that's been out. It's as far as it's the mid-season review. Actually, Philip, tell me a little bit about this video, man. What do you cover? What's is really a great video that you made. So tell us a little bit
Thank
about
you.
it, man.
Yeah, we just covered the first 19 Premier League games of the season. Obviously included the Champions Leagues and the cups. A couple of content creators, Baz from Through Black and White Eyes, Steve, Strasbourg Steve, American fan who supports Newcastle as well, was on it, and Daz from Loaded Mag was on it as well. Just giving our opinions in terms of player performance, Eddie Howe's performance, have we progressed as a team from last year, and putting it all together essentially. And it's about 20 minutes long, but really, really good content. Have a look at it, guys. Check it out. Let us know what you think. And any feedback would be great. Any kind of, if we can engage with you even more when we do these projects, because I've got another project coming up as well. Do let me know how I can do that. So look, tune in and see. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, man, it's great stuff, of course. And Ian, listen, I've already talked with Sheik, man. He gave me the green light that I'm going to drop a bag, so Ian can come on the show more often. You know, he got our Saudi owners, man. They got the bag going to Ian's house right now. You know what I'm saying? Because Ian's been all over the place, man. He's been great. He's been good. I'm joking, but he's been great, man. And of course Philip as well, putting the time, putting the work. I appreciate it, man. Both of you guys, I appreciate it. And of course, a lot of people, a few loyal listeners couldn't join today. Different time, and of course it's Sunday. People are chilling back, enjoying time with their families. But we're gonna be back tomorrow, Monday, and throughout the week with shows. It's gonna be kind of weird because we don't have a match to talk about, so we're gonna be talking about something. There's always something going on with Newcastle United.
Hopefully a transfer or something.
Oh man, yes sir, yes sir. Hopefully, Calvin Phillips, man.
Come on, let's get him in.
Calvin Phillips, you better stop celebrating like that, bro. Better stop celebrating like that.
That will do me.
Yeah. But anyways, man, peace out. You guys have a blessed the rest of your evening.
God bless, guys.
Cheers.